Alright, so the ranch is back at it again. We have a little pre-review. Now this one is going to be a little bit something different. I've kind of teased it, and I'm quite excited about it. Now I have not, full disclaimer here, I have not actually taken out the AUG with this system and fired it yet. I did go, actually, probably not the best idea, but it was kind of a spur of the moment thing. I did take this hunting with this installed. Probably changed my zero on my optic, but I was hog hunting. I've already bagged my deer for this year, and besides, I usually use 308 to deer hunt. But so I took this, and yeah, never saw a hog, but the rail never came loose. It's been charged and uncharged a bunch, beat around, kind of knocked around in the ATV a bunch. So far, it's held up well. I followed the instructions on the site. There are no... That's one thing Underworld Arms could kind of do better, is give you some instructions with this, though it wasn't hard for me to figure out. But I'm a machinist, so I probably have more technical knowledge than how anything works. Essentially, the whole thing is held together with a jam nut on the AUG bayonet threads. And it basically, you Loctite it down really good so it can't pop loose. You get it timed correctly and jam it up against it. And they give you a little, I believe it's 3D printed, might be just Delrin plug, that when you take your muzzle device off, you can get it real centered. However, that leads me to kind of a complaint. Well, not really a complaint. It's just, and I never really intended to use this per se. This rail system, there's nothing that retains zero I'm ever going to mount to it, so I'm not really concerned. What I am concerned with is, though, if you are, this top rail is simply held on by m-lok. This whole bottom assembly is just an m-lok rail, and this top piece is, I thought it was originally machined into it, but it's not. It's detachable. So I probably would not put optic on this, because m-lok, I don't know. It might hold zero because it feels very solid. It might not. I might put iron sights just to see backups. And these would not be intended to ever be the main optic on the AUG, because it was obviously never intended to have irons. Even the A1, it had irons molded into the top optic, but they were not very good. It'd be kind of the same setup here, just backups essentially. And I think they do fine for that, although it was kind of disappointing. But I mean, it's a good value. This rail is only $140, about $150 shipped to you. So I can't really knock it that much. What will be going on, and the purpose of this handguard, was to get the sling from where it normally was, which interferes with the charging handle and was one of my big complaints about the AUG. One of the really only complaints about the AUG. And getting it moved onto the handguard to where it does not interfere with the charging handle shark fin. Moving my light from back here to the handguard, so I no longer have to worry about reaching it, getting to it, and I can put the 90-degree rail here for my night vision aiming device if I ever have enough money to get into that, which I'm planning on. So that's where I would put my my aiming device on the 90-degree here on the receiver, and then have my non-zero needing stuff out here, and maybe backup irons on this top rail. And that's my plan. Apparently there are some suppressors that can fit into this. I've decided I will be getting into NFA stuff eventually and paying out the ass for it, which sucks, and dealing with all that insane bullshit, excuse my language, that you have to do to deal with that. But yeah, this gun's worth suppressing, so it's worth the trouble. And I'm going to get the suppressor gas plug in this. And yeah, I've decided I'm really sticking with the AUG. This is a 3D printed brass case deflector. I want to at least get 500 rounds through it before I can say anything. Even if it fails, it's a hell of a bargain at that price range. The only thing I'm concerned about is if it failing on you in a self-defense scenario and jamming the gun up, which could happen. But then again, the AUG is so easy to remove barrels on that, you know, it's really a non-issue. And that's the only other thing about installing this that's kind of a bitch, is you got to get the tolerances 100% correct with this little gap right here. know if you can see that. But in order to keep your barrel quick changing, you can see where the sling rubbed up against the damn receiver. That's another reason I'm glad to get it off where it was up here. Is basically you can't have too much tension up here or your barrel will not quick change correctly. So you got to keep fitting it while the Loctite is still loose with the wing nut in here, rotating it a half a turn until you get everything perfect, centered with the Delrin plug. And then you can Loctite, which I use just blue Loctite because I don't know. If this works well, this is what's staying on it. If it causes problems somehow, I don't see how it would. I don't know. It's probably going to act like a heat sink and make the barrel even stay cooler longer. I really love the way it looks. It looks like a Battlefield 4 AUG A3 now, and absolutely love that. It only adds about 5 ounces of weight to the gun, so it's not, I mean, yeah, with my LPVO and my other shit, it's heavy now. It's about a 9-pound rifle, 9.5. But it's not unbearable. Like, I could just pick it up left-handed, no problem, and hold it. I have shot it left-handed now with the case deflector, and it works fine. I don't see, with a good case deflector, like, I'd honestly, if you're really going to shoot it left-handed constantly, I would go out and buy probably the Corvus Defensio aluminum one that's $70 friggin' dollars. But, yeah, but this $10 3D printed one so far is fine, and it's kicking the cases off just like the Corvus one does. But yeah, we're about 1,300 rounds into the AUG now. No malfunctions besides the very first magazine not locking back, like I've said before. Literally AK reliability. Yeah, I love this platform so far, and if anything does happen with it, you guys will know. It better not, because of how friggin' expensive this whole thing is. But yeah, I will be getting probably a BCM quick detach sling, m-lok sling mount to move my sling to the handguard. And I will be, it's already in the mail actually. And I will be getting, moving my light with a piece of m-lok. I can just go to the local sporting goods store and buy a piece of Magpul m-lok to move my light, because it don't matter if it's just plastic m-lok rail or whatever, it's a light. And yeah, the AUG project is coming up. Millhouse, one could say. But yeah, I'll try to get more AK and AR content in. I don't want this to just become the AUG channel, although I do love this AUG. It's honestly, I've shot Tavors. I've not shot an X95, so full disclosure there, and I've not shot a VHS2, although the Fudbusters review kind of left me not really wanting a VHS2 as much. I don't know, the one trigger bar linkage. Yeah, your bullpups really need, like, you're already dealing with not a great trigger with 2 bars. Making it down to 1 is just, it's not helping. It's like the NATO version of the AUG. That's why I tell people to get the waffle pattern. So you don't make a bad trigger worse and then ruin your experience on bullpups and, oh, they're all horrible, they all suck. And yeah, so it's certainly not a good trigger, but it is much better than the NATO AUG triggers and like the this Gen 1 SAR Tavors I've had. I will be getting the Steyr Red Spring kit. That's a thing. I'm going to see how that works. Some people have said it made their triggers like a mil-spec AR trigger, which would make this thing amazing. And I kind of want to get the Corvus Defensio mag catch, although I understand why it's kind of, sometimes you have to jam this all the way up. It's so this gun never had the problems like the SA80 had of magazines unintentionally dropping from shouldering. So it's a well thought out idea. It's just for modern speed, low drag operator, quick mag reloads. You kind of have to really jam your thumb up in there to get the mag out, which is fine. It's just about, getting the technique down. But yeah, so far, I've got to give this whole setup a thumbs up. Good job, Underworld Arms. If this rail does shit the bed when I go shoot it about 300 rounds later today, hopefully I'll have the video up sometime this week. It'll probably be a couple of days after this one. I'll go shoot it, and hopefully we will see how this holds up. I followed all the instructions. It's on there correctly. We will see if this loosens up. If this does not loosen up after about 300 rounds of very rapid fire and kind of rough handling, then I might trust it more on the top rail to mount optics. But as it is, it's a decent value at $140. And I do like that it gives the AUG the Battlefield 4 vibe, and it looks sick as fuck. If it does its job at staying on the rifle forever. Yeah, good job so far, Underworld Arms. Yeah, they're also coming out with more of the top rails that are supposed to fit on the sides to give it the full A3 SWAT look, which I don't really care about. I just wanted the m-lok for practical reasons, although it already looks enough like it. The cool kind of like radar angle thing going on up there I really like with the tulip flash hider. Look even more dank with a suppressor. But yeah, so far so good. We'll keep you guys updated on the Underworld Arms AUG rail. And it gives you a use for the bayonet threads on the barrel, which it's really hard to get bayonet lugs for AUGs. It's really weird. Like, you pretty much have to buy a $200 parts kit. And yeah, I'm not going to do that just for a bayonet lug. I might like fabricate my own because it's pretty simple. It's just like a fucking threaded lug that can go around the threading on the barrel and screw together, bolt together, and then your lug for your bayonet can go on. But yeah, so far, really liking the setup. I can't decide. Let me know if you guys think I should get actual irons on this, or forget about the irons and get a way better mount. This is just a cheap PA mount. I'm planning on getting a Warren or one of the, God, what's the quick detach ones everybody's recommending that's about $200? One of those for this, so that way I can get the optic mounted a little differently configured and have more rail space. It's solid for mounting optics. And I might get a piggyback RDS instead of might put a Holosun, one of the golds or something, instead of the irons. And that might be a more modern, slick way of running it. But we'll see. So far, really like the AUG in every way, except for the sling mount. That was annoying. But that should be fixed now. And yeah, we will see. The only thing I can see where this could go bad is if it's really fucked up the accuracy by, excuse my language, by having the wing nut directly on the barrel, which the AUG is not by any means free-floated to begin with. So much like an AK, this really shouldn't affect accuracy that much, like slapping shit on the barrel. I'm guessing it might affect it slightly, make it worse. If it changes it very slightly, I don't care. If it's drastic, that might be a problem. But we will see. I will shoot it for groups during the 300 round session on it. And I will hopefully post the groups. It'll be at a public range, and my phone, the noise is kind of shit. I'm actually going to a public range because I want to shoot this at 300. And my private range only have access to about 100 yards to shoot at. It's great for zeroing stuff, but it's, can't really test it at long range. But yeah, we will see, and I will let you guys know.